Hello everyone, something a bit different today. I wanted to make a video in relation to the hashtag WTFU movement that's been happening at the moment. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, that does it? Not the point! Now, a lot of the politics and the disputes that kind of happen on YouTube, I generally try to stay out of. Partly because I don't care, and people also seem to forget. When you look at the broad scheme of things, YouTube or any particular site isn't important. And of course, this movement isn't important to everybody either. I completely understand that. But the copyright system seems to be affecting more and more people every day. And it is something that I have to deal with at least once a week, minimum. And I feel like it's time that YouTube, or the people at YouTube, maybe start putting something in place to prevent the abuse of the system that's going on at the moment. So what I'm talking about is, and I'm sure you've seen at least a dozen videos on this already. But what's been happening, people have been uploading their content that fits completely under the terms of fair use. Then companies, that might be, say, a movie production company or somebody who's working for them, and sometimes even people who are not affiliated with any of it and are just looking to steal money, kind of trawl through YouTube videos and flag things for copyright infringement. Now look, I honestly believe that a lot of this is legit. There's a hell of a lot of copyright material going up on YouTube all the time. I can't remember the exact statistics, but there's something like 500 hours a minute of YouTube that's uploaded. That's probably wrong, but it is an insane amount. So there is this automated system in place to flag videos, and also people going out and actively looking for it. I completely understand that. You do need it, especially when you've got people, posting sexually explicit content, things that are inappropriate, all that kind of stuff. But having this system in place means there has been room for people to abuse it. So what happens when you flag a video, when you flag somebody else's video? Well, a few things can happen. Depending on the severity of it, they can get a strike against their channel, which restricts things like the length of videos they can upload, but it can also take away the monetization feature, which means they get no money for all the videos on their entire channel. And that can last for as long as, say, a few hours to 6 months. But in regards to the people who are flagging individual videos and claiming it, which like I said is something that happens to me quite a bit. Whoever it is that's claiming that gets the ad revenue for that video that they did not make. So say for example, 20th Century Fox, they claim one of my reviews, which they are prone to doing. Not that they're the only ones. The only people that don't seem to care is like Disney, which is great because they have Star Wars and Marvel, and that's kind of a lot of my channel. But as a result of this, all the ad revenue goes to them. Now, I have the right to dispute this. It's a tedious kind of thing to do. But to be fair, it's not completely broken. Eventually, the monetization will shift back to my channel. But here's the thing. The amount of money it was made in that time under 20th Century Fox or whoever it is, they keep that money, which is ridiculous. Now, the kind of channels that have been affected by this has been YouTubers big and small. Like, to name a few, Jim Sterling, Doug Walker, Chris Stuckman, Bandit Incorporated, Angry Joe, NerdSync, Your Movie Sucks, Grade A Under A, I Hate Everything, Team 4-Star, the last two of which have actually had their channels removed. Team 4-Star's channel is currently completely gone. Now, I'm not sure about the specifics behind it, but they've made it clear on Twitter that it's not actually the people behind Dragon Ball Z that have done this. Dragon Ball Z being what their entire channel is built on. And the reason I bring up channels being taken down is because this is something that actually happened to me early 2014. This is my second YouTube channel that you're currently on. Because what happened when I got to about 10,000 subscribers, one of my videos got flagged as spam, or I can't even remember the specifics of it, but it was basically, it was spam related, and it was my Captain America Easter egg video. And because of that, I got 3 automatic strikes and my channel pulled. Now, of course, YouTube is notorious for also not responding to complaints, especially when you are a smaller channel. So as a result, that channel did not come back at all. Like, I called YouTube, I called the head offices here in Australia, and I tried to call the US, and it just kind of, I couldn't get through to anybody to help me in either of those cases. The phone didn't even actually pick up in the US. And look, I can understand that because there are millions of creators, maybe not millions, hundreds of thousands, I don't know. And this is a free service they're providing, and of course they can't cater to all of that. But the point is, that channel didn't come back. That's still gone. So as a result, I had to make this channel, my second channel, which kind of worked out for the best because I kind of changed the direction of the channel and a lot of people kind of came on board, which is super cool. But at the time I was like, you know what, screw all this. I don't want to be dealing with any of this anymore. I'll just go and do something else. But I'm glad I didn't. But as a result of this, there is a constant kind of underlying fear that this YouTube thing is going to get, that my channel's going to get struck and it's going to get taken down. Because even since then, I've had monetization removed for a few months at a time. And again, just for whatever reason. It's very vague, it's very automated. And of course, that's not the only reason this whole thing feels incredibly unstable, especially because you see channels like Team 4-Star who have over 2 million subscribers, and it can happen to them. And of course, like I said, this doesn't affect everybody. Not everybody is a YouTuber, not everybody watches YouTube. I mean, you just gotta look at how, people are treated in, the current refugee crisis that's happening the world over. It's insane. And comparatively, like I said, who cares about this? It's not important. So this is really, in the broad scheme of things, this is nothing. But the thing is, a lot of people rely on this for a form of income. And I know a lot of people have said, well, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket or whatever. But even then, I'd say YouTube is more stable than a lot of jobs. Like whatever Leonardo DiCaprio did in the movie where he was that big dickhead. Or being a murderer. But because of YouTube's instability, I do rely on other forms of income for doing this kind of thing. I've got a Patreon. I get sponsorship on my podcast. I do like audio commentaries and things like that. But I would say the bulk of it does come from YouTube. And the thing is, and I know this is the same for a lot of people depend on me for an income. Like I have people in my life who would be directly affected if my channel was removed and this YouTube, and the money I get from YouTube goes away. And that's kind of a terrifying thing to live with, you know. And I guess if you're not like an enormous channel that's kind of backed by a television network or a movie production company or something like that, then there's not really a level of protection that people are comfortable with. Well, I know I'm not anyway. Now, what is being done about this? As far as I know, nothing. Because YouTube are notoriously tight-lipped about what goes on behind the scenes. As I said, it's really hard to get in contact with anybody, even if you reach out to them directly, either through phone calls, Twitter, email, whatever. And I'm hoping that they've seen kind of the backlash that's been happening in regards to these channels being taken down and monetization being removed and the like. But I don't know that. So the idea is behind this video, or any of these videos, is to share it around on Twitter, Facebook, wherever, with the hashtag WTFU, in the hopes that somebody at YouTube will see this and realize that the system they've got in place is not adequate to deal with the way that people are abusing it currently. Again, I know this doesn't affect everybody directly or even indirectly, but if it is something that you slightly care about, that would be a super cool thing for you to do. Now, there are some options for protection available at the moment. They're not bulletproof, but these are kind of things that have helped me. So I'm happy to share that now with you guys. If you got the time, I guess. You're busy? If you are, that's fine. Go and, do that thing. But if not, this is what I've found has helped me. Your Movie Sucks has been dealing with this for years. People who get real pissy that he's taken a bat to some of the, let's say, substandard media that they've created. Which is strange because at the same time, when somebody does a review of something not good, or not good in the eyes of the person criticizing it, it draws more people to it. But anyway, that's not the point. He's put in place a copyright response. So if this does happen to you, where your video gets flagged for whatever, you can send this off. And it's kind of an airtight argument, which logically you can't really dispute. So I've used that quite a lot, and I'll link that below. People also go under the protection of, say, a YouTube network, which I'm currently in. And the reason I decided to do it was because it just adds that slight extra level of protection. Now, the one that I was first part of, they take a certain cut of what you create. In my case, it was 10%, but it can be anywhere up to 40% depending on who you choose to go with. Now, that's not ideal, but like I said, that does offer some level of protection. But I feel at the end of the day, with a lot of them, when the chips are down, it doesn't matter. Like, you'll still get hit, your channel can still get removed, and they probably cannot help you. I should mention at the moment I'm now with a different YouTube network where I get 100% of the revenue, but again, that's neither here nor there. And of course, there's also the other option of, why don't you go to a different video platform? And quite frankly, that's not really an option. There's nothing that kind of has the outreach of YouTube. Of course, they're backed by Google, so YouTube is obviously everywhere. The closest thing is probably Vimeo and Facebook, and let's be honest, Vimeo doesn't get the fraction of views that YouTube has, and Facebook, I'm not sure where they're at with monetizing videos or whatever they're doing. So at the moment, YouTube is like the only game in town, as I think Jim Sterling said, which is kind of shitty, but I also feel like if they don't do something about this, eventually someone's going to make something a more stable platform, and people will shift. It will happen, but of course, we'll see. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting this cause and even supporting me. I genuinely appreciate it. Like, I love making videos. I'm hoping to one day use this as a platform to, promote something that I've written, maybe a comic or something. That's very early days, and it'll probably never happen. Now I put it out there, now everybody knows that, so now I'm probably going to get asked about it. Also, I just want to say that I do appreciate everybody that, watches my videos, everybody who comments, hits me up on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I don't respond to as many YouTube comments as I would like to, but just the amount of positivity that people kind of post down there is super cool, and I genuinely appreciate it. But yeah, that's about it. I'll do something more movie related this Sunday, something more fun. But yeah, again, thank you for everything. Have an awesome time. Yeah.